like when there's management struggles between Sally and Jeannie.
Yeah, that felt good. Like it felt like.
Because originally we sort of talked about how we liked having like rival horror industries on Scumtown.
Okay.
Like
Yeah. It maybe
like
feels
the
like.
two gas stations across the street from each other.
Yeah, that's how you guys like pitched it, is that you were like on rival corners, or that was like the original scene.
Right, or like I guess like to me, I think it's maybe it's a little more fun when we're all on a slightly equal playing field, because then we can actually interact with each other as opposed to it being like these huge stakes are making us like I felt like really kind of like, well, you know, they're really epic, amazing stakes, but then it's like we're not talking to each other anymore.
Right,
we're not talking to each other anymore. We're not talking to each other anymore. We're kind of like all.
And you and I don't have
Anything from this that you want to take for your characters then? So then we can switch you up.
I really like being a whore and
You're
not
so
so like separate of like everybody else.
So being a whore.
Okay.
Okay. You're so sweet. Yeah.
Sweetest storyteller.
All right. And so you're her daughter still. You like that?
Yeah. I don't know if I like being Eastern European. I think I might just be regular.
Okay. So this is something that had happened in rehearsal last time that I liked the thought of, but that's me just because I had an idea, was that you're rival whores, but you're underneath one umbrella, as opposed to being two different corporations. So then I sort of thought of you as being the madam. It doesn't have to be. It could be you as the pimp. You know what I mean? That it's, you guys you're not trying to get a company together, you're trying to just get your, it's more, as opposed to being a full business, it's your immediate needs. I gotta get my family fed, here's my daughter with me, blah, 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 and you're fighting for attention of your boss.
He's in charge.
If we're to fold like everything together, of like, I'm the John, he's doing a job for me, and she's keeping the books. Because that was something from your song, you wrapped up in a mob now. Maybe it's that you have to start keeping books because you're the only one that's educated in that, you know?
I love the idea that I love the connection you guys made that you guys are three sisters, two sisters rivaling against each other, and then the good sister. I don't mind putting that together. I think that's a fun concept. So you guys already have a shared history. If there was a relationship between you two, and maybe that's who who her father is, but he's now married to her. Or something, you know what I mean? We have all those little things that we don't do full scenes about, but we have those connections. You know what I mean? So that maybe the big idea of a conglomeration, it's your conglomeration, it's your business. We make it a little more grassroots and bigger. I love the concept of it, but I do think that it takes away from the individual. And then we got to bring in Philip Morris, we got to bring in, all that kind of stuff, right? So are you guys comfortable with the concept of either you being the big boss or a madam, one or the other? Now, I was somewhat thinking of it being a madam, so that we've got the parallel in the other world. But if this is being run by men, maybe down the line Sarah can take over. That might give a good place. She can kick you out, and to make it equitable, we have a woman running this sort of thing. That could be a road that we explore down the line.
Maybe he goes back to Dayton, Ohio, working as a chemist.
Yeah,
Maybe. I mean, we see if that's what you are. I mean, that's one quick thing that we threw in there to see. So you guys like the concept of, you guys work for the same person, so we start with him. You guys, there's a competition that you're trying to get for John's. Your major one is you got a kid to take care of. I don't know, are you trying to keep her off the pole? You know what I mean? Are you go ahead.
I just felt like I'm not sure how much I'm like in love with the idea of like it being this kind of epic thing about whether or not she has to be a hooker, making it be this kind of like really awful thing.
How I initially saw it was that it's like bring your daughter to work day every day for me. So I'm just like always there, just
babysit.
Right. Yeah, it's just like so that's kind of like what I saw.
And that's kind of how I saw like the hooking maybe in general was like not so like we're forced into it because we're desperate. We don't have enough money to feed each other, but maybe like that's her job. Like Scumtown is like the town that comes in and like she meets all these people. It's like it is like a normal life rather than.
Well, I think it's what everybody's normal life is. If I don't come to work today, my bills aren't paid. And I know I'm teaching theater, but my bills aren't paid. So it is epic in the sense of you don't have any other skills. It's the only thing you do. I can't work in a very corporate job. I know theater. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, it is your job, and it is what's going to feed your kid. And if you don't have a husband around, there is something a little heightened to it. It doesn't mean we need to make a whole scene about it.
Yeah.
But your one is great that you want to take care of your kid, and you got fun to take care of your kid.
I like it. I like in instead of in Scumtown, instead of like you could be a nurse or a teacher or an astronaut. I mean, you could be a hooker or a mobster or a drug lord. Like, and it, like, I feel like I've competed to get a John, because if I don't get my numbers up, I won't get my year-end bonus. You know, or something like
It
that.
could be that, you know, particularly if people wanted to make a relation to Chicago. I mean, this is a big city, and there's a lot of corporations, and there's a lot of opportunity.
Yeah.
If you go down to the Loop, they're all in Business Square, and they're all, you know, blah, blah, blah. Maybe this is our version of the Loop, but it's hookers and mobsters.
That's exactly what I was
Yeah,
trying to say.
yeah, and it's like under the train tracks still, but we're all very like,
Right.
I don't know. It
Well,
doesn't have.
and we need to remember that we are an environment that is affecting an outsider.
Right.
So how do these, right now we're making story connections that seem really large and important, but it's just so that you know them. So you can take that big thing that we just did and nestle it in here and then affect Allison's journey. You know what I mean? Again, you have your own stories, but for right now we got to get that journey out of the way so then we can create your journeys more, right?
Yeah.
So we need to get that pathway forged and then we can have all the different little stories.
Right.
So if you guys are, if you're a hooker, if you're both, if he's the big boss, and you're both hookers, and you're a hooker too, maybe you're on her team, I don't know how it works. Unless we got 3 hookers, then it becomes, you know.
I just think we could probably even, I mean, honestly, I think we could also work together and still fight too, because that's
Yeah.
what people do all the time.
Yeah, like, oh, you took my shift.
Yeah, I'm like,
ah!
I'll take your shift again, whatever.
So then you're involved in it too. So let's try it again, let's play again, and, you guys, let's set up you guys on that, because I want to set this up because I think it's going to be important to see the good little farm girl get schooled by hookers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that's not necessarily a negative. That it's about empowerment. It's about, you know,
On the
doing
job
best of your
training.
Yeah, whatever. You know? And see what that's like because I think her journey isn't she's going back home because it's so bad here. She's going back home because it's so bad there. And she's taking all the tools that you guys teach her to save her family. You know what I mean? So how great is it that she learns from hookers and mobsters how to help the farm? Because usually it's the hooker goes to the nice place and gets better. It's the opposite.
A lot about cooperation and sharing.
Yeah. So let's see. Let's establish you guys on the street. You're the daughter who's at work. Do we want him? Do you feel comfortable with him being the John?
Yeah.
Not the John. The pimp.
And then for a second,
You can play as many different Johns as you want. You're not the same character. Play as many different Johns. Keep coming in the scene. At some point, you'll come in and you're a good, upstanding citizen, and we'll see what you feel about it. I love the scene about the books, and that as a sister, it's literary, it's that kind of stuff. I'm going to give you what you got. I'm going to give you pictures of identity. Well, I'm going to give you something about reproductive health. You know, and that they're sisters, and there's something going. And I mean, is this a sisterhood as opposed to real sisters?
Yeah,
You
I
know?
like that.
Or is this, are there really sisters?
I like that.
Sisterhood by choice.
Yeah.
You know? And so then is it, are you really not her sister, but you're like, look, I think this is a bad choice for you, and I'm looking after you? Or do we have one set of real sisters? Man, who knows?
I think that says a really interesting thing though about like city life in general, because a lot of us are implants in the city, and you really do have to choose your family, and you make your own family when you're in the city. So I do like the idea that if this is a sisterhood versus like the country where you really are sisters, that we choose kind of our family.
And also, it's like they obviously probably lost. They didn't have a family at some point. That's why
Yeah.
we're doing such seedy jobs. Or that's like a very stereotypical.
Yeah, and you're forced into it too. I mean, it's, you know, you go to college for something, and you know, you thought you wanted to be in business when you were in college. It sounded good, and now you got a career in business your whole life, and you're like, I always wanted to be a screenwriter. You know what I mean? Like, there's that sort of stuff too. So you each can have your individual dreams. I think it's great if you're like, I want to be fucking a hooker. I like to fuck. Like, okay, that's awesome.
Right.
So let's establish this world a little, because I think now we're narrowing it down. Play, we tried a big macro thing, fun idea, maybe not working for where we want to go. Let's establish the street corner, let's see how the ladies interact, sisters, and then what we can maybe do is we can parallel the sisters opening, and you guys talk about being sisters on the street.
Yeah.
Maybe something to do with that.
Street sisters, not actually related.
And then, so let's just establish that for a little bit. Because if we get this established, then we know what the world of play is.
Yeah.
And we know who's going to affect Allison on the journey. And then it's just pushing her in different directions. I think where my brain is going is we establish this, and then I want to put you in a location of what's it like? Does she hang out with each of you individually? I think we still need some sort of love interest. I love the scene between you guys, but I think you're probably, we have to put her into some sort of love interest situation. Or does she, as an outsider, help bring a relationship together? Sometimes what you guys can't see because you're in it every day, someone from the outside can go, but you guys are in love, like, why don't you let that happen? You know, different things like that. So let's first establish this, get these characters down pat, know who they are, know how they relate to each other, know what every day is like, so then we can make today's the day by throwing a stranger in.
Right.
Okay? Right. Is that good?
Yeah.
So let's establish that this scene, let's have a little street scene, and then you can play as many different versions of John's as you want. And you know, and it may, and you play John too. Hilarious for all the Johns and your John. That might be funny. All right. So how's everybody? Is everybody comfortable? Kind of get a feel for what we're doing?
Yeah.
All right. So just start however you like. You're on the streets of Scumville, Scumtown, Scumbag.